There is something about chronic illness that very few people talk about. It's not just the pain, it's not just the fatigue, it's the grief. A quiet, complicated grief that many people with chronic illness carry every day. Not because someone died, but because a version of your life did. If you live with fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome, or any long-term illness, you may know exactly what I'm talking about. You remember who you used to be, and sometimes you miss that person. Today, I want to talk about that grief, because if you've been feeling it, I want you to know something important. You are not alone in this. When illness enters your life, it rarely just affects your body. It changes your entire world. Things that used to feel simple suddenly become difficult. Your energy changes. Your plans change. Sometimes your career changes. Sometimes your relationships change. And slowly, life begins to look very different from the one you imagined for yourself. You may have had dreams that required a certain kind of energy, a certain kind of freedom. And when your body changes, those dreams can feel like they are slipping away. That can create a deep sense of loss. And that loss is real, even if other people don't understand it. One of the hardest parts of chronic illness is missing the person you used to be. Maybe you used to move through life with energy. Maybe you could make plans without worrying about whether your body would cooperate. Maybe you could push yourself without crashing afterward. And now things are different. Now every activity has consequences. Every plan has uncertainty. Every day requires careful pacing. So sometimes you look back and think, I miss the old me. And that feeling can be painful, but it's also very human. Because you are not just adjusting to symptoms. You are adjusting to a new version of life. What makes this grief even harder is that it's invisible. When someone loses a loved one, people understand the grief. They offer support. They give space to mourn. But when someone loses their health, the world often expects them to just adapt quietly. There are no rituals for grieving your energy. There are no ceremonies for the loss of the life you imagined. And because of that, many people with chronic illness carry this grief silently. They smile when they can. They rest when they must. But inside, they are still processing everything that changed. And that silent grief can feel very lonely. If you are living with chronic illness and you feel this grief, I want you to know something very important. You are allowed to grieve. You are allowed to miss your old life. You are allowed to feel sadness about the things that changed. Grief does not mean you are weak. Grief does not mean you are ungrateful. It simply means something meaningful was lost, and acknowledging that loss is part of healing, not something to hide from. Something interesting can also happen over time. When the initial shock and grief begin to settle, many people start discovering a new version of themselves, a version shaped by patience, by resilience, by empathy. Living with chronic illness often teaches lessons that healthy people rarely have to learn. You learn how to listen to your body. You learn how to value rest. You learn how to slow down and notice small moments of peace. And slowly, a different kind of life begins to form. It may not be the life you originally imagined, but it can still be meaningful. It can still be beautiful. If you are carrying this quiet grief today, I want you to hear this. Your feelings are valid. Your loss is real. And the version of you that existed before illness still matters. But so does the version of you that exists now. The one who learned to endure pain. The one who learned to survive exhaustion. The one who keeps showing up even when life became harder. That version of you deserves compassion. So if you need to grieve, allow yourself to grieve. And if you need time to rebuild your life in a different way, give yourself that time. Because even though chronic illness changes many things, it does not erase your value. It does not erase your purpose. And it certainly does not erase your strength. You are still here. And that matters more than you know.